Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Sorry about the rain on the roof, and I've only just noticed this, but when the wind's blowing quite hard, this whole place moves. Maybe I can show it. That's not going to do it now. Just now this plant was shaking. Now okay, it's in a very fragile position because it's on a wire that's hooked up to a wire. You know, so the slightest movement's going to vibrate through and come down to this plant. Anyway, that's not why I came in here, to talk about our lousy weather again. I wanted to talk about firsts. They take many forms. The obvious one is the first time you get a plant to bloom. These times are special. You know, sometimes waited for in anticipation for huge amounts of time. There's the first rebloom you get on a plant, where you sort of say to yourself, well, although it was in bloom when I got it, those weren't my work. I had nothing to do with those, so these are the first ones that are mine, that I've grown. Yeah, so first time there. First time you do a mount, first time you do a repot. All these firsts that we get in the orchid hobby. And sometimes, like, you might think it's special because your cattleya for the first time has pushed out 2 new growths instead of just 1. You know, that's special because potentially now you've got 2 lots of blooms at the same time. All these sort of firsts that you get. And this is one of mine. And I'll go over this because this isn't the first time it's bloomed. It's not the first time it's bloomed for me. But it's the first time it's had 2 blooms out at the same time, and it's the first time it's had 2 blooms on. It would have been nice if it was 3, but that one did decide to blast in the end. But then you always have to look on the bright side, he says, kicking the place around. They both could have blasted, and then I'd have only had 1. Yeah, well, 2's better than 1, and 1's better than none. Yeah, 3 would have been nice, but okay, I'll have 2. 2's nice. So what we've got now is 2 Dracula Bella blooms open at the same time. Now the first one to open isn't quite formed correctly because its top antennae decided to curl backwards quite heavily, whereas this one has actually opened properly. So the antennae are where they should be. The top one's sticking upright, and the bottom 2 are arching slightly forward. We've still got our lovely dangly white bit, and we've still got our lovely patterning. That really is gorgeous. And another first. It's the first Dracula that's ever bloomed in here. And it's the first Dracula I've ever got to bloom. So all these firsts, you know, they take many forms, but sometimes it's just what makes it worthwhile. I think the first bloom on a plant you brought up from a seedling is very special because you've put years into it. Yeah? The first rebloom is quite special because you might have got the plant in bloom, and then after a while you thought about it and sort of started to think, I wonder if I can get it to rebloom again, especially if it's an awkward one. You know, so these firsts are special. They're precious. So what am I ever going to get as a first on this plant? Well, more than 2 open at once. So I've still got some work to do. It's not finished just because I got 2 out together. Well, let's go for 3 now. First of all, we'll need some more spikes, which at the moment, I don't think there are any more at the moment. It's probably going to take a break from spiking now. Something I've never heard anybody say, I don't even know if it would be known, but most Draculas, not all, spike from the base of the plant, which is why they have to go in some sort of open arrangement to allow the spikes to escape, so that they can hang downwards. Is there a relationship between the number of new growths up here and the number of spikes? You know, is it like, well, for every 2 new growths you get a new spike, or for every 1 you get a new spike, or there's no relationship whatsoever, which is more likely. But it'd be nice to know if anybody's ever looked into that, especially with Draculas. You could say it with Masdevallias as well, as they have single leaf growths that are not canes, they're not pseudobulbs, they're just basically a leaf growing out of the base of the plant. The plant's shaking about now. Every time the wind blows, the plant jumps up and down. One day I'm going to come in here and the roof is going to be in next door's garden, I'm sure of it. This place is borderline falling down. I know it may not seem it because, the wood looks nice and sturdy, but it's not. I mean, that doorpost there has rotted off at the base. It's only the fact that the door's in the frame that it stays there. If I open that door, that post would swing around and probably the glass would fall out. It's not in a good state. And the roof's probably in a worse state. It did come off once, not long after I got here. I think it was before the plants came out here. That, I came in the morning and there was a load of light coming through there and the whole roof had moved off that corner about 6 inches. There was about a 6 inches to nothing gap along there. So I had to sort of get up the other end, push it back in place and put some rather large fixing items into every possible angle I could get them into to hold everything in place. And hopefully it's going to stay there. It would be tragic if I came in one morning and the roof was over next door's garden. That would be a bit of a mess to clear up, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyway, have a think about your firsts. The first of a type of orchid, for instance, like you mainly grow Phalaenopsis, say, and you ventured out and got a nobile. First time you got that to rebloom. Or perhaps you ventured into a couple of Cattleyas that hadn't bloomed for you, and then they did. These are all firsts, they're all specials. And that's the way I look at it. They're specials. They're for you. They're a reward for your work, your efforts, your culture. So so that's a first for me. 2 Bella blooms out at the same time. 3 would have been nice. Still, I'll have 2. 2's still better than 1. Right, see you next time.